Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brandon. I am the founder, visionary, and strategist of NOVAEO, and we are recruiting our first ever, and maybe the world's first ever, wellness mentor, a dedicated person to our NOVAEO team that is full-time, fully dedicated to NOVAEO, no outside clients, solely focused on the continuous progression of the holistic wellness of every single NOVAEO team member. So my breakdown of wellness would be, first, we would have movement. So the physical movement of the body. There are tons of different modalities out there, but basically, I don't like using the word fitness because, well, fitness can actually be unhealthy depending on the approach. But also I view fitness as a very external system, whereas movement is a lot more all-encompassing. So powerlifting can be movement, but so can ballet. Follow? All right, then we have basically, I don't know what a good word for this would be, but like what we consume. So not just necessarily nutrition, because maybe it's nutrition, but what we consume would cover what we eat for food, for energy, but it would also be, what are we avoiding? So what is our perspective of, say, waking up to coffee, right? So wouldn't really call that nutrition, but it's definitely part of what you consume. Then we would have any kind of like supplements or herbals and that kind of stuff. And then one that I'm pretty big with is water intake, both understanding quality of water, purified versus spring water, these kinds of things, structured water if you're really into it, but then also just like overall water intake and hydration. So we have movement, we have consumption, then we have, this is a weird one because strangely enough, at least in Western cultures, all the ones that I'm familiar with, you never actually learn how to breathe. It's just taken for granted. We don't really learn how to stand, we don't really learn how to walk, we don't really learn how to breathe. All these like very basic foundational things that once you actually pop the lid off that and start studying these things, you realize how important they are. Breathing, that would be another wellness. Then social wellness. So social wellness, I would consider the quality of your relationships with all living things outside of yourself. So that could be your sexual wellness, your familial love, your friendships, your just community in general, even pets, even plants. All these things I would view as being part of social wellness, and is another perspective, a perspective that we must have to understand in holistically well lifestyle. And then the last one, let's say there's two more. I'm gonna split these up. Mental and emotional wellness. I kind of group those together because mind and emotions tend to go hand in hand. Control your mind, you're basically controlling your emotions. Not 100% true, but basically. Probably don't need to talk to you too much about that. That's pretty well understood, although very much lacking across the whole world. And then the last one is spiritual wellness. So this one's a little interesting because spirituality can mean so much to different people. Not necessarily talking about religion or anything like that. The way I'm defining spiritual wellness or spirituality in general is a continuous pursuit of understanding of the self, your consciousness, your purpose, these kinds of things, and your relationship to the environment, the world, the universe around you. So that ultimately, I would just call that wrapped up together as spiritual wellness. And I think that pretty much covers all the wellness categories. But so as a wellness mentor, let me back up. NOVAEO is 70 people strong right now. We are building this system to support when we are 1,000 people or even 5,000 people. So this is the very start of NOVAEO starting to focus on ourselves, not just as a business where we're caring about outputs and profit and stuff like that, but we're actually looking at ourselves as a genuine community. And we are trying to foster the support and ultimately the progression or the growth of a holistically well lifestyle. Because one of the things I'm seeing is as the world becomes more and more remote working, so more remote jobs, there's a lot more responsibility on the individual to basically learn and then therefore maintain a holistically well lifestyle. And so we are inside the NOVAEO community wanting to teach that and then wanting to inspire that. So we're going to use financial incentive to inspire a holistically well lifestyle. So now I'm going to go backwards. So say we're at 10,000 people strong. In this community, we would have wellness mentors for all the various things that people might be interested in. So we wouldn't just have a movement wellness mentor. We would sleep. I forgot about sleep. Sleep is another huge one. All right. Anyway, so sleep wellness. That's definitely a category. Anyway, back it up. Shit, where was I? Hold on, gotta pause. All right. So what I was saying was, once we're like 10,000 people strong, we're not going to just have a general wellness mentor, which is what we're hiring right now as our very first one. We're not even going to just have a movement wellness mentor, a breathing mentor, etc., etc., etc. The more people we get, the more niche interests we'll have, and we're going to be building out our wellness mentor network accordingly so that we can have experts for each of these more niche categories. So for example, in the world of movement, we will probably have a lot of people that are into yoga. And when we get there, and actually yoga wouldn't just be movement, it can be spiritual, it can be breathing. There's a lot there with yoga. It's a lifestyle in itself. But anyway, so point is, eventually we're gonna have very niche experts for each of these categories. And maybe we come up with more categories. Maybe you can help with that. But before we get there, say when NOVAEO is 200 people, maybe like 150 people, now that is when we will have a movement mentor, a breathing mentor, consumption wellness mentor. I guess I'll just say nutrition for now, but I don't like that because there's more to what we put in our body than just the nutritional value of stuff. So whatever, nutrition. So that's when we're 10,000 people, we're going to have tons and tons of mentors so that we can accommodate the more specific interests of each of our NOVAEO community members. When we're a couple hundred people or whatever, then we're going to have a mentor or two or whatever for each category. Right now, with our 70 people strong and the very start of this, we're looking for one general wellness mentor. Now, you're not going to be a specialist in all of these things, but you have to have an interest in all these things. You have to be networked. You have to be maybe like following influencers for each of these things and all that kind of stuff. So basically you have to be able to study these and be able to take what you learn and then be able to apply it into these different things. So also what we're looking to do right now is coming up with one super simple program that we can get the whole team started on that basically touches as much of these wellness categories as possible. So the program has to be simple, accessible to everyone. And again, our NOVAEO team is very broad. We have a big team in India. We have a huge team in the Philippines. We have people in Mexico. We have a warehouse in Tampa, Florida, full of Americans. And actually a lot of Latin people there too. And then a whole bunch of nomads as well, all over the place. So people are coming from all kinds of different cultures, all kinds of different belief systems, that stuff. So the idea with the very start is how do we capture this really wide net, but still get people thinking on all these different things, and then build some kind of very simple program to get people starting to develop a practice, to have goals, to have targets to shoot for, so KPIs, then targets. The NOVAEO will build incentives for each of these individuals to hit their targets. And then the key to all of this, the key to it all, my belief, the key to health, at least a healthy mind, is continuous progression, which is subjective to the individual. As long as the individual feels that they are progressing in whatever it is they're applying their time to, their stress to, their attention to, they will gain a sense of fulfillment, happiness. And so that's what your job really is. We can start for some individuals, the confidence to move the body is so low, so low. 1,000 steps per day, 2,000 steps per day is what some people are saying they can do. No problem. It does not matter where people start. It matters about the progression, and we don't even have to take giant steps of progression. Little tiny ones. That's cool. People will start building their confidence and just continuous scale. So my idea for how we kick off the first program, what we're just now doing this month, is we're starting people off with just steps per day. And it's not that it's my ideal program, but it's just simple. Because what's important with whatever programs we put together is that there are KPIs, easily identifiable KPIs, so a way to measure quality and performance of the execution of the program. We have to be able to set targets based on those KPIs, so that's easy. So KPI is steps, target is whatever we assess or whatever we create for the baseline for each of those individuals, 10,000 steps per day. And then we're going to attach a financial incentive to those, to hitting those targets. It's at the individual level, but we're presenting information as a team. And then the ability to scale. So steps is easy because for someone starting at 10,000 steps per day this month, maybe we do 10,250 steps next month. Like I said, very small increments, that's totally fine. Just continuous progression. Someone gets rocked off their horse, they fall to the ground, that's fine. Dust off, start over again, whatever. Maybe they missed a bonus, sure. But just get back on the horse and start going again. So my game plan with how I'm kicking things off, and once we have you on board, I'll continue thinking creative ideas, but this won't be my role. So my idea is start with steps per day, which is just getting people to move the body. Ideally, I'm a huge believer in walking. I found so much value in walking, but it's not the total amount of walking that you do in a day that I find to be so healthy. It's taking a chunk out of your day to do nothing other than walk. It is a meditation. So what I want to move to, and again, we're starting off just as easy as possible. We can track steps per day, so we're going to start with steps per day. What I want to move to eventually is getting people to do like a 20 or 30, and eventually my key, what I found to be like the target for myself, where I noticed like some pretty extreme mental and even aesthetic benefit, is 40 minutes a day. 40 minutes a day of in one moment, one 40-minute block of walking. Slow as fuck walking. It doesn't seem like speed really matters. This is not a calorie game, and not the way I'm building this. It's not about calories. There's something else going on. And so from there, then we want to teach people posture. So like perfect walking posture. Most people are going to be walking, feet are like spayed out to the side, and they have shoulder injuries and knee injuries and all that stuff. So we're going to start needing to teach people how to walk. Spine, chin, all that stuff. Then we want to teach people clearing the mind, turning that walk into more of a meditation. Not exactly meditation, I'm pretty strict with that word. Loosely using the word meditation, more about maybe mindfulness. There's a lot of things you can do. You could do meditation, you can do stillness practice, you can do mindfulness training. All those things work really well when you're doing a walk. But basically to teach people how to control their mind while walking. Next step would be breathing. Maybe we do breathing first, actually. Learning how to breathe also helps control the mind. So yeah, maybe we teach posture, then we start teaching breathing while walking, then we move into mind control while walking. So this whole program, just what I've said so far, might take 6 months or even 12 months for some people. That's fine. It's all about continuous progression. So what you would be doing as our first wellness mentor is to communicate to every individual on the team and figure out where they're at, just in general. What are the things in their lifestyle that are the most like raising the alarms of lack of holistic wellness? If someone says they sleep for 3 hours a night, need to look at that. Cigarette smokers, definitely need to look at that. And again, continuous progression. If you're a cigarette smoker and you're smoking a pack a day, we're not going to ask you to stop smoking cold turkey. It's like reducing by a cigarette a day or something like that. But basically, yeah, to get to know each individual, to understand where they're at, but to also first focus on the team as a collective. So all programs need to be able to get tweaked to meet the foundation of each individual, which is going to be uniquely different. So for the steps challenge, we're starting at 10,000 steps as a default, but anyone that doesn't think they can do 10,000 steps for any reason is DMing one of our Harmony members, one of our team members, and they get to pick their target. Some people chose 2,000, some people have 5,000, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're monitoring the progression. That's what really matters. To set a target, to try to achieve it, and then to try to improve. That's what the incentive is built around. Your initial steps, yes, it's to get to know the individuals, but we're not going to be able to build individual programs quite yet. We need to build the most general program possible that captures as big of a net as possible in terms of these different wellness categories. So that's why I like the walking one, because we can move into movement, breathing, mindfulness. So that starts getting into, can get into spiritual, but also mental and emotional health. So all of that stuff. As we have more time, as we also start making more money as a team, we can increase these bonuses more and more. Eventually I want to get to the point where these, what I'm calling lifestyle bonuses, because we're going to eventually get to a point where there's a sleep bonus, there's a movement one, there's the blah, 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 blah. I want to get this to the point where basically half of people's income, not half of it, basically the bonuses are pretty much on par with salary, which is pretty extreme, I know, but I have some pretty big vision for this. So anyway, sorry to keep on repeating myself, but I keep on going off on a tangent. All good information though. So starting with a single program that's expansive enough that we can scale, no one is excluded, we can make whatever tweaks we need so that no one is excluded. Keeping track of each individual's progression, keeping track, this is you, so keeping track of people proving the targets, everything, we really need everything to be able to get proven for now. Because when we onboard new team members, not everyone's super honest. Yeah, I would vouch for all of our current team members, but like I said, I want to be able to build a system where you don't have to worry about that stuff. So basically, whatever we create, everything really needs to be able to get proven, ideally. And scalability, expansiveness sideways, scalability in terms of progression. And as time goes on, we will identify where each individual really needs to focus, and then we can start building customized programs for the individuals. But I think that's probably going to be a while. What's really important is you understand that you are the organizer of the programming, the collecting the information from the individuals, tweaking programming as necessary. You are keeping track of the proof. You are creating each individual's next progression step, assuming they hit the previous month's target. You are, let's see, what else? Blanking. Pause again. I think a lot of this is going to need to get written down because I'm not going to be able to come up with every role and responsibility, or every responsibility of this role right here on the spot. But I would also imagine that you would be heavily requested for when we start recruiting more wellness mentors, trying to expand that network. All right, so yeah, we're gonna bullet point these responsibilities so that it's a little bit more understood there and can think about it a little bit more. But I want to start now painting like the bigger vision for you. What NOVAEO is doing in general is we're not just producing the products that and services that all of our business, we have a bunch of businesses inside the NOVAEO community. We're not just one business, we're numerous businesses. And it's not just the products that we create, and it's not just the services that we perform in those different businesses. That cluster of businesses, like here, we call this the ecosystem, the NOVAEO ecosystem. And it's the NOVAEO community that operates all entities in the ecosystem. The big thing that NOVAEO is actually trying to build is a brand new culture and a brand new organizational structure, a brand new operational system of how humans interact to create value, how we work together in a business. Because the world is going more remote and we have the opportunity to be more global. And most businesses, really, I haven't found any businesses that have truly figured out how to be super productive, infinitely scalable with a fully remote team and a fully global team, all kinds of different time zones. operating numerous, in our case, different entities. I haven't met anyone, I haven't read about anyone that's actually figured it out. Some claim to have, but they don't really fall into all that category. Some people are remote first, but they're all in the same time zone. Some people do really well because they have a hybrid culture where they have an office, but they can also be remote. But to really put it all together hasn't happened yet. And basically, I believe that certain human beings are ready for that next step of evolution, but it's going to require like a significant amount of individual autonomy to get there. And that we basically have to be taught. So that's what this is part of, is teaching people how to take care of themselves holistically. So there's no holes. Anyway, as we design all this wellness mentor network, these systems, the incentive systems, there's also other stuff going on professional side and also like productivity side. Imagine having like our own Tony Robbins inside of our team. We're taking all of this together and creating a package, and then that package itself is going to be marketed. So we want to teach other businesses how to do what we do once we fully create it. Right now we're guinea pigs. We're just testing shit out. Sometimes things work. Sometimes we find that giving too much freedom, people exploit it. So we have to figure shit out there. But once we figure it all out, how to teach people how to be productive, how to teach people to be holistically well, how to teach people to manage themselves when they have a totally work from home type setup. We want to teach all of that. We want to create the operational systems, our technology using task management. We use ClickUp, for example, all of the different technology that you use online to work together. We're creating a whole big package of that. And then we're going to create information product that other businesses could buy and then teach themselves. We're going to offer a consulting service where we can come into another group's business and teach them hands-on how to do stuff. And then we're going to offer a service where they invite us into their team, and we actually have NOVAEO team members in their team running their this is called the Harmony Network, running Harmony inside a Harmony operational system is what we call it. So running the Harmony operational system inside of other businesses. So that's actually what you're joining. You're the first person, the first wellness mentor of this whole piece of the Harmony operational system. It's pretty sweet. So anyway, I feel like I left a lot of chunks, a lot of holes, but I definitely communicated the gist of this. So please ask as many questions as possible so that you can fully understand. We're obviously going to be asking you to do a selfie video reply with answers to a lot of questions that we'll write. I'm going to further communicate in writing the responsibilities and what I see being day-to-day of this role, both basically like maybe like first 90 days kind of thing, but then also 3 years from now, what's it going to look like? Sweet. I think I pretty much covered it. Thanks for watching. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, I think so. The team's quite excited about this, so looking forward to your application. Our recruiting process is pretty lengthy. You can start understanding why. We're building something very idealistic, and most humans aren't ready for this. Most humans want to sit at home watching Netflix with any time that they have. I like to watch Netflix too, so no judgment, but we really need to find those people that are really passionate about joining this team. And in order to really understand that, we have a pretty heavy recruiting process. So thanks for your time and energy. Thanks for watching, and look forward to hearing from you.